welcome back. CFP here, and this is Survival Living. So today, working on the Tahoe. I've got a firing issue. I believe I got a cylinder not firing. Could be one of multiple things, all with the ignition system as far as firing procedure. Could be the rotator button, could be the distributor cap, could be a wire, and it could be a spark plug itself. So going in, we're taking a look at everything now. Let's try to identify what the problem is first before we get it right into town to repair it. Alright guys, stick around. We'll be right back after a word from my sponsor.
Hey everyone, this is Ryan Jeske with the Prescott Caliber Club. For those of you who don't know me, I've been subscribed here to Survival Living since I believe I was subscriber number 54. That was a long time ago. My buddy CFP over here has invited me to do a little promo video, so I wanted to offer a discount to his followers, to you guys. So if you head on over to PrescottCalClub.com, hit our online store up, you can save 5% with the discount code CFPROCKS. That will give you, again, 5% off store-wide at PrescottCalClub.com. The Prescott Caliber Club is an online emergency preparedness retailer, outfitter. We also are a manufacturer of firearms and a firearms dealer. So we do everything from emergency preparedness to firearms gear, camping, survival stuff, and everything. So head on over to PrescottCalClub.com, and remember, CFP rocks. Save 5% today.
Alright guys, so like I said, hit and miss. Just going through the basics with this. It's really not hard to figure stuff like this out. Throw that out of the way. Alright, so we're going to be taking this breather element off. We're going to get it out of our way because it's in our way. Now, the only reason I know this is going on, my wife came back from work the other day when I was working nights and told me that the car was having a hard time accelerating. It's making all kind of racket, jumping around. So I took it out yesterday and gave it a little test drive, and as it turns out, we got a firing issue. Now, the distributor's back here. We're going to take that distributor cap off. I've had in the past distributor caps get gray wall and things like that on the contacts. I've used sandpaper before, cleaned them up, and they've ran. I do see down inside my throttle body, it's nasty. That does need to be cleaned. Looking down in here, we've got gunk, so that does need to be cleaned. I just ran a fuel system clean through this vehicle before this started happening. Now, because of that, makes me think that maybe something got dislodged or dirtied up on the spark plugs themselves, which is a very big possibility. I just use AC Delco parts on most of my vehicles anyway, so it's like a $3 spark plug. I want to find out which one it is, so we're going to check that out. I do apologize if the camera's moving. It is actually very windy out here. I've got the camera on a tripod, and I'm sitting there watching the camera bounce around back and forth. So now that that is out of the way, Fat Boy's going to reach over, and I'm going to see what our distributor cap is. I'm hoping it's a Phillips head, but my luck, it'll be a Torx bit, which is fine. I've got Torx bits. Let's climb up in here, see what we got. We do have a Torx bit. That's either a 15 or a 20. So I'm going to take that off, and before we do, I'm going to mark our spark plugs with the correct number for our firing order before we get to tinker around too much. Alright guys, so here we go, climbing up in the truck. Alright, so I got a T15, and actually it's a T15. Okay, perfect. So you got 2 screws that hold the distributor cap down. You don't want to lose those. There's one here and one on the back side. I'm trying to find a good position or I'm not crushing any automotive parts. Let's see if I can get this snorkel out of the way. Yeah, I might just disassemble this and move that. There's a mass airflow sensor over here. So let's disassemble this right fast, get this out of the way. Of course, this is going to be a flathead. Yeah. Now I have had a mass airflow sensor mess up on a vehicle and do kind of the same thing. I had an 89 Camaro, it had a mass airflow sensor issue, and it would sputter around, act like plugs and everything else. And as it turns out, it was a mass airflow. Now, it's possible I could have a mass airflow sensor issue, but we're targeting this because it is the cheapest thing to work on, easiest access to. Move that box along, see if I can't step up in here a little bit better. There we go. Take that off. Those out of the way. Yep, I'm a big guy. Alright, move that out of the way so I don't break it. Move those electrical lines. There we go. Alright, so I've got a screw back here. When I bought the Tahoe, guys, I was told they changed out the distributor cap, rotor button, and distributor. They changed out the spark plug wires and the spark plugs. Now, it did look like the wires were new. It did look like the spark plugs were new from what I could visually see without getting a wrench on anything and taking things apart. So I am hoping it's this and not the mass airflow sensor. Like I said, we're just going to take this apart, inspect it, and make a decision on that. It's only a $30 part, the distributor cap itself. Rotor button is about $36, so it's not something that's going to break the bank, but I fixed it with less before, just using a piece of sandpaper. And you know what really sucks? They're using an aluminum screw on this cap. Alright, you can catch that screw. Perfect. So I don't want to drop it. Alright guys, so this is our rotor button for the distributor. This is our distributor cap. Now we do have some build up in here. I don't know. We're going to clean them. We're going to reassemble. And we're going to give it a try. Distributor button. The rotor button here. It does have some wear on it. This does not fix this issue. That means that we have a bigger issue. Now to remove this, there's 2 screws here and here. Take those out, torque bit screws, and you just take the whole button off. Alright guys, so we've got our distributor cap cleaned up, rotor button after a little bit close examination. Don't believe that's going to be an issue. I've seen worse. I've seen nicer. So we're actually going to be reinstalling that rotor button, and we're going to give it a try. I am fixing to go ahead and pull the plugs, inspect those just to see if there's anything major going on there as far as anything burnt or clogged. Now, let's place that on, grab our torque screwdriver. Now I'm just setting these screws first, making sure everything lines up before we tighten it down. Don't want anything frustrated or anything like that going on with these aluminum screws. Alright, okay, rotor buttons are back on. So we have cleaned our distributor cap. Now it's going to go back on like that, the 5 on one side, on the left hand side, the passenger side, because this is where we pulled our coil wire off. Now we have 2 screw points. Pretty much we just set it right back on place. But I want to go ahead and run our wires first, just to make sure we got them connected, because such a tight squeeze down here. I want to go ahead and take care of that now. Alright guys, welcome back. CFP here. Stopped in the gas station. Alright, so we're going to go down the road so you can maybe hear the issue I've got going on. So this thing's just not firing up good at all. I've never had an issue with the firing itself. That's acting up too, which if you got a cylinder misfiring, that will happen. So we've already checked the distributor cap. We've checked the rotor button. The rotor button is not the best, but it's also not the worst I've ever seen. Feel that? Hear that? That's not good. That's a cylinder missing. So tomorrow we're going to go back into town. I'm going to get a new rotor button, new distributor cap, new plugs and wires. I'm going to change all that out. I'm going to go ahead and get some Syntec. I am going to, not Syntec, Syntec. I'm going to clean the throttle body very well. Make sure the throttle body's cleared, at least the butterfly valve, everything cleared in the throttle. And then we'll reassemble and we will see how well everything is. See, I'm running 50 miles an hour right now and I can feel the miss. It's there. So hopefully I don't have a distributor issue. I don't think it's a distributor. It's not the coil. It's definitely a cylinder itself. But I want to inspect everything. Now, why do I do my own mechanic work? Because I'm just cheap. No, actually, I enjoy doing mechanic work. I was a mechanic for years. But I got burnout on working on other people's crap all the time. I never had time to work on my own vehicles, which sucks. So I finally just had enough of it, stepped away from it, went back into welding. Being a prepper, having the ability to work on your own things and repair, personally I believe that is a very key thing. Let's face it, there is not going to be any mechanic shops when everything goes to crap. Later, when there's a bartering system or some new order that's placed and going on, I don't know how long it's going to take. Sure, there might be some jerry-riggers and stuff like that trying to put things together. But having supplies, having extra parts, things like that, you can work on your own vehicle, whatever, it's probably a good idea. I definitely encourage everybody to start tinkering with something. You know, y'all can actually watch YouTube videos and get the general gist of what you need to do in certain situations as far as mechanic work. Now, does that mean that you're a mechanic? No, it don't. I ran into welders out in North Dakota and a couple other places that we're pipe welding at. Of course, I've been certified pipe welder for a very long time. And we get some come in, they want to test on pipe welding. All right, no problem. Well, you need to be running some test plates here at the shop first before you go take that test. The test is expensive. Comes in the next day, hey man, I'm ready to take that test. I said, there's no way, man. You haven't even run a stringer plate yet. You have not run a coupon, nothing, man. Well, I was watching this YouTube video and they had trade tricks and secrets on it. I'm ready. Y'all hear that damn misfire and shit? So that is not a fuel filter, by the way. I just replaced that fuel filter. We replaced that fuel filter when we replaced the fuel pump. So we're good there. That's not the issue. It's not a fuel delivery issue. It is definitely misfire. Anyway, just because you watch a YouTube video doesn't make you an expert at anything. It'll give you general knowledge on things, and as preppers, I definitely encourage watching do-it-yourself videos, things like that. So you got a general knowledge of it, but you really need to get your hands on things. Would it be a good idea to start buying mechanical engineering books, things like that? Well, you know what? I don't know. Mainly because mechanical engineering books require specific equipment to get the job done, and I'm not expecting to have access to a lot of that equipment. But let's say that you are planning to have your vehicle up and running during SHTF. Or like we went ahead and got the EMP shield for the vehicle. So we're expecting, you know, some type of electromagnetic pulse to fry other vehicles. We want to protect ours and keep it running. So one of the main things we need to do is have spare tires, spare parts, motor oil, supply stockpile of gasoline, ways of getting hold of gasoline. So that's another list of prepper items you should think about. Alright guys, so we're back home anyway. Basically we're going to go tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and replace the rotor button, distributor cap, plugs and wire. I'm probably going to go ahead and pick up a mass airflow sensor for the vehicle. I'm not going to put it on just yet. I want to go ahead and test everything else out first, and if it works correctly, I won't need it. I don't have any way of testing the mass airflow sensor currently, so I'm going to try that first. And since I already have the parts, if the spark plugs and wire is not the issue, then I'm going to change out the mass airflow. So anyway guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Talk to y'all later.